No.
We are back once again, and now I feel like I'm lower. And now I need to bring this one down.
Yeah, so what's going
Camera
on, Jake?
camera
What's going
issues
on,
that are
Jake?
occurring today, but we're back once again. Game number 2 of the day. DFM versus V3. We've seen Leicester win the Premier League. Can we get an even more major upset today, Middlecourt?
It's going to be difficult. We were just talking about sort of in the break room. If V3 beat DFM, is it the biggest upset in league history? Does it compare to Team WE versus G Tigers? And the fact that we're saying this about two teams in the same league, one of which has gone to Worlds, is kind of crazy. But every time we see V3 on the Rift now, there's always that question of can they? And the answer is always no. So
But
my hopes are it's very, very low, Mr. Real.
let's get an opinion from Marswan. Marswan, welcome in. Hope you're having a good day today.
Thank you.
Obviously,
Good.
a bit of an interesting matchup coming through here, and also you're very good at the posing right now. You got the statue going on. Like Initialize, I think had it at the start, but I think you're doing a better job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm trying my best. I don't even move my lips, which is the amazing part of all of this as well. The hair stays perfect and flawless. But with V3, they're not going to win here. And I'll tell you why, J-Ro. I'll tell you very why. If I went into a casino right now and placed a bet on any game on the floor, without even knowing what the game was, without even playing the rules, I'd have a better chance in winning than V3 does. And we know the golden rule of casinos. The house always wins. As such, DFM are the house, V3 are the player, and that's why they're also the loser. But loser was last game, obviously.
That loser was lucky.
Yeah, it's definitely not the greatest odds. I think that there's more likelihood of betting when the game ends rather than who wins. I feel like it's a little bit of a tough one. Now we are saying this stuff. We're not trying to be mean to V3. We are just looking at the history. Obviously, they are on a massive loss streak, and DFM, well, they're heating up. You know, they're 13-0 right now in their last 14. 13-1 in their last 14 games. They're looking pretty strong. They're on form. They're closing out games early. They're going back to what we previously knew them in spring split and middle. When do you think the game is going to end? That's really the question I'm going to ask you.
Oh god. It is sad that we have to talk about V3 in this way, but I think that it is important that we are honest with all of you guys watching about their chances and how they're going to be performing in this game. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if DFM close this in sort of 22, 23 minutes, like pre-Soul, probably get an early Baron or something. V3's early game has been okay for the first 15 minutes. I know that's like been the narrative that we've been pushing a fair bit throughout the split, but it has been getting gradually worse, and DFM are only getting stronger. So it's going to be a bloodbath, but at least it's going to be over quickly.
Yeah, I guess so. Marswan, how are you kind of feeling about it? Are you feeling similar to middle court? Do you maybe think it will go a little bit longer due to the potential good early game of V3?
Ooh. Now that I think about it, I think. Do you think we could get a sub 20-minute game?
It's possible.
What a stomp fest that would be in this meta, especially. I don't think it. I think it will be 24 minutes. I think if anything, they might actually take a bit more time. Just because V3 early game, let's just hope to see some really good things from their early game. I'm hopeful that Washi Day won't get completely destroyed in the top lane. That is my only saving grace for V3 at this point.
For me, I just don't want them to pick Sejuani, and that's just how I feel.
That's your pick, mate.
But that is, if you ever play Clash with me and I'm top lane, expect some Sejuani. That's a vibe. But going into the goal at 15 minutes, just to kind of highlight how these teams are doing. V3 at the moment are 2,428 gold behind at 15 minutes on average, whereas DFM, they're up at 2,772. So quite a disparity there. That is about 5,000 gold difference between the two teams. Now, with that being said, I think I'm going to estimate at 21 minutes for the end of this game. I do think it'll be relatively fast. I think there are some picks that have kind of brought a bit of pace to the Rift. One that I'm expecting, or not expecting, one that I'm hopeful to see is Udyr. Middlecourt. What do you think of Udyr right now? Do you feel like DFM should lock this one in?
Bro, Udyr is so insane right now. Like, he is an absolute demon in terms of the full clear, one of the fastest clearing junglers, and offers you so much flexibility in terms of play styles. You can go something a little bit more tankier and be an enabler for the team, or you can go something a little bit more tankier and do 1,000,000 damage to the enemy team, or you can go for a bit of a hybrid build and do 1,000,000 damage to the enemy team. The champion is just ridiculous right now, and we're not seeing anyone play it because jungle isn't really seen as a carry role, especially in a meta where AD carries are so exceptional. But Udyr absolutely monsters AD carries. I so want either Steel to pull this one out, or maybe Unica grabs it, throws a curveball at DFM and sees what happens.
And on the flip side, another one that I think is also a pretty good jungle pick that we haven't necessarily seen as much is Diana. Must1, do you want to see some Diana jungle coming out for some of these LJL teams?
I mean, I'm always a fan of seeing Diana. She's one of my favorite champions. I own every single skin for her. I disagree with where the mains are currently going on the poll that you should go and vote over on the Reddit. Currently, they've put the Prestige one. I think that's just leaning in too hard. Personally, I'm a Dark Valkyrie fan, but that's where
good.
I am at the moment. I think Diana's perfectly fine in the meta. I don't think she's top tier anymore. I think she's still very strong, and more so, she gets enabled when you have diving champion team comps, which really enable her ultimate to actually utilize. Yasuo is pretty good at that, and is Yone as well to a degree with comboing in, but don't just play Poppy. Honestly speaking, just play Poppy. Poppy's so broken. Oh, and Wukong.
Yeah, they are pretty strong. Immediately going back to this game a little bit more, for me, I really want to see V3 just kind of, and I've said this a long time now, I've said this for a long time. I just want them to just do something a little bit different, go outside of the meta, or just play picks that you aren't normally characterizing in the LGL. Just give them something that they're not necessarily looking forward to or looking to potentially expect. But we'll see how this one does go. Draft has begun. Must1 Middlecott, take us in to game 2.
So Smite top, right?
Let's go, Lexi. Let's go.
Smite top.
Smite top. Hey, we've seen it work before. Right? We've seen it not work a few times as well. We're in draft here. DFM banning away 3 mid laners here. Silas, Swain, and Galio. Recognizing that Ucho has really been the linchpin, but V3 has been one of their strongest performers this split.
Whereas I have to imagine this is going to be, okay, interesting. Yuumi getting banned out. I mean, this is just bot lane centric. Harp, Udapon, obviously. I just try, B3 trying to, just nullify a little bit, even like try neuter, try and bring down the power level of the DFM bot lane. Hot take. Good idea, V3. You're not going to do it versus Udapon or Harp, though. That's just not going to be an easy way. Zeri is currently open, as is Wukong at this moment in time. So we've got a lot of powerful pocket picks, and that's exactly where DFM go.
I think the thing about Udapon and Harp as a bot lane is they've got so much champion diversity that you can ban out specific styles. So you can take away this Kalista and Lucian, and means that the early game isn't going to be quite as explosive for them. But we've already seen that this Zeri from Udapon could take down a Draven in the early stages. The Sivir, though, locked here for dress code, does actually have a fairly decent matchup into the Zeri in terms of the early stages. And there's that Wukong that you were talking about, Lexi.
I mean, is it really surprising? He's one of the most played champions at the moment. So now back over to DFM. What is your response going to be? Are you going to decide to play something like a Talia? Are you going to try and play something... like you can play Volibear. It's perfectly fine here. Even Viego in this spot. Trundle even to a degree. There's a lot of viable options. DFM, don't lock in that champion though. I think it's really bad. They don't care.
Okay. Well, I mean, so we have already seen DFM play Zeri Alistair before. And it went pretty well against Axis. Counterpoint, it was against Axis. But counterpoint, they're playing against V3, so I'm not sure if V3 are really going to have the tools to be able to punish this Alistair. And I mean, if Harp can find some multi-man pulverizers, it definitely can look good. But Gwen, once again, being picked up in the B3 slot.
And what's really weird about that, Alistair, is it's against the Sivir, so Spell Shield just kind of really messes up if you're going to hit which side of the combo if the player is particularly good. I mean, we might not see it, but it's just going to be interesting. Against this Gwen is going to be Nithanar, most likely, and I mean, we're just literally just locking in some of the most played champions on this patch at the moment. Oh my...
Oh, let's go! Let's go. Okay, so Jax has been a counter into the Gwen ever since she was released. And this is good, Lexi. This is what we were talking about on the deck. Something a little bit different from V3. Maybe can snag them some early advantages.
Yeah, and it's towards Washi Day as well. That's the player I was talking about. I was like, hey, this guy is like not terrible on the side of V3. And honestly, that's the sucky thing when you're on a team that's just losing like this streak after streak, game after game. Sometimes your mental is going to be tested. And hey, if they're going and putting all of the fruits in that basket, it'll be interesting to see. There is a small chance that also is a jungle Jax, and we both cry.
Oh,
but
yeah. Please not.
We'll wait and see. The banning of the Poppy kind of does indicate that this will be a top lane Jax with the Wukong going into the jungles, thankfully. But there was always that slight chance of complete catastrophe for V3. As it comes, though, support's coming through and bans as well.
Sorry, I just love that as a line. There's always the chance of there's always a slight chance of complete catastrophe for V3.
Yes.
That just feels very, very apt right now, Lexi. The Ramata removed by DFM, so once again trying to target sort of V3 actually in the early stages, and a Skarner ban. This is a champion that we've really been starting to see pop off, and if last game was anything to go by, definitely ban-worthy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, honestly, the Skarner angle more just targets and reveals the fact that V3 just aren't good at grouping. They aren't good at understanding when a jungler could just be a rotation ahead of their support, their jungler, or just pathing in general or not having vision. Skarner punishes a lack of vision game, and if you're a team like V3, that is a criticism we've had in the past. But Rakan is also banned out by DFM, so a lot of these enchanters as well have gotten removed, especially the ones that are very good in team fights against Lincoln Alistair. So, hey, DFM are trying to draft at least an identity. Tom Kench is locked in. I don't understand why, though.
Yeah. Doesn't really fit in terms of the identity of V3 here. I guess it's going to be offering a little bit of additional safety to dress code, but you've already got the spell shield, and if this Sivir is in threat range of something like the Zeri or the Gwen, she's probably dead regardless of the Devour. So, yep, bit of a weird one there from V3, but we'll have to see if Hetel is going to be able to actually make it work for them once we do get on to the Rift. Lissandra here to pick up the Yaharong in the mid lane.
Not too surprising. Lissandra's great in a lot of blind pick scenarios, so now it just comes back to DFM. Okay, what jungle do you want to pick? Well, Trundle's open, and they've got a few off-tank to tank champions, so it's not terrible. Vi is currently open. I definitely play Vi in an angle like this. Just point, click, get onto the target that you want to get onto.
Oh, just slam something weird. Just slam something weird, like a Nocturne or something. I don't know. Gonna be the Viego.
Be safe.
Yeah, pretty safe. Champion that is definitely, I think, fallen away from the meta somewhat. We're not seeing him being traded for Wukong as much as we used to, but hey-ho, that's the matchup that we're getting in the jungle for this game.
And now it falls on V3. What do you want to play in that mid lane UGO? I don't know, mate. But Buddy, you used to be okay at like things like Syndra and stuff. She's rising into prominence again. Maybe that's an angle here. Good for control. You don't have to put yourself on the front line. No, you're going to go for the Talia. Is this a UGO Talia first? Oh no.
Trying to rack my brain. I can't recall him playing it before, but does offer you a fair bit of zone control, obviously with the unraveled Earth. And when you've got champions like the Gwen, like the Viego, like the Zeri, who are going to want to dash around, want to be fairly active, that could be a pretty good tool to dissuade that.
This is also a first-time Yu-Gi-Oh game. Well, not first-time Yu-Gi-Oh, first-time Talia game for Yu-Gi-Oh, so will be exciting. One thing I have noticed as we come back to the desk, and I am still a statue, is that we've seen a lot of like ranged poke controlling based champions from Yu-Gi-Oh in a lot of spots like this. We've seen a lot of Corki, obviously his Swain, where they should have got that one win. Zoe, Ari, even Oriana to a point. Like these are all zoning champions. I almost wonder with the small rise of Kiana players in solo queue, causing misery for some players. I know a few assassins and, well, ninjas, I guess, are getting changed coming patch 12.15. Will that come in time soon enough so that V3 can get a win on an assassin?
12-15. I'm not sure if we're actually going to have a chance to play on 12-15, at least until playoffs. So
I guess 12.15 might be the Worlds patch for 12-16, right?
12-15. It's 12-15. I feel like 12-15 is a little bit early for Worlds patch. We're still a fair way out from that
Yeah,
event,
that's true.
Lexi.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, V3 just won't get to play on the patch.
Well, and I don't think that V3 need to be worrying about the Worlds patch right now, Lexi.
Okay, touche. Yeah, no, that point's fair.
But looking at the sort of composition that they have built for themselves, I think that there is clear direction in a few of the picks. Obviously, like the Jax is going to be incredible in terms of the side laning, and Wukong and Talia are actually champions that can get involved in side lanes relatively easily. Like Weaver's Wall Ultimate from the Talia going to be impactful, going to be big for getting you across the map as we are jumping into game for DFM versus V3. Two teams whose fates could not be more different so far in this summer split. DFM only dropping one game on the first day of the split. V3 still without a win.
Yeah, and that was DFM with their MSI hangover as well, which was the other thing that we haven't taken. I mean, remember, for the longest time, Sengoku was leading the table, leading the wins, and now they've fallen down to second, and they're well and truly now second place with one loss behind DFM at this moment in time. Blitzcrank predicts DFM victory, and I believe that's always without the nameplate on. So
Yes.
I mean, that's a fair assessment with the comps to a degree, I guess. I don't know. There's just some weird thing about the Tom Kench Siva.
I feel like, right, so this is the weird thing about Blitzcrank bot. It's like, that was a 52 to 48% percentage win for DFM. It's actually Washidai going very aggressive in the early stages onto Ebby, who is on the wrong side of the lane. No flash available for the Gwen in these early stages, but is able to skip and slash away.
How much experience is he losing though by just getting forced out of that wave? That's awkward as anything. But hey, I mean that's prominence. That's good from Washi Day. Steal though, not gonna find anything.
Yeah, that's
that's land.
Well, it does land the Spectral, but a little bit overambitious if you're actually looking for a kill into the mid lane. And the thing is, yeah, Washidai's got himself a little bit of an experience. They got themselves an advantage in terms of this top side, but burning that flash so early on in the game when you are playing against the likes of a Viego, the likes of a Lissandra, is very, very punishable.
Oh, absolutely, and you can tell already. I mean, that's already where Steel is currently pathing at this moment in time. He's going to that top side, and there isn't a ward currently for Washidai at the moment. So, hey, if something is just as simple as clear blue, run up, try and kill, get kills, that could be the worst case scenario now for Washidai. But Yu-Gi-Oh's coming in for a bit of an invade.
Oh, as we're already seeing summoners traded in the bot lane, the headbutt under the tower, Hetel forced to flash back away. Dress Code, the only player not burning that summoner spell.
And junglers are awkwardly watching each other. And junglers have gone back to everything. Yaharong just getting a bit poked at, but at the moment, there's a lot of proactiveness coming out of this V3 lineup.
Yeah, Unica going to be forced to clone himself away as Washidai does have first rotate from the top side of the map, but you need to be careful going forward there. The Spectral Maw is going to land onto that Wukong. Unica forced to flash away, but the follow under the tower. The Ignite will claim his life, and it's first blood for Steel.
And this is why you save those summoners for clutch moments. Ebby getting the first blood over there, also assisting with... Wait, how did Ebby not get the kill with the Ignite tick? Wait,
red buff burn, baby. Red buff burn.
Red buff burn, that is so disgusting. They were going to get the kill then regardless with the burns and the heals and the Ignites and everything, but wow, that's got a... Well... 4 minutes. It took under 4 minutes for the first blood to come through.
Oh no! Oh, Eugeo uses the cleanse, flashes away from the Spectral Maw, throws out the rocks, and is going to be forcing Yaharong to flash away as well. There's been so much action in the early stages, but DFM coming off just slightly ahead.
And you know what DFM's going to do with all these flashes down. They know they're going to be more proactive with this information, and as such, they're going to keep pushing this. They keep wanting to pressure so many members of the side of V3 Esports. And with the flashes down in mid lane, you know Yu-Gi-Oh's going to need to play safe at this moment in time because roaming is coming in clutch for DFM at the moment, and it's just punishing the members of V3 Esports when they just don't expect it.
Yeah, Unica trying to contest onto this Scuttle Crab, and you feel like you have the ability to do this, but DFM recognizing that whilst Washidai may have the priority in that top lane, Ebby is absolutely free to move over whenever he likes. That stun connecting so crucial to secure the kill.
just beautifully done, honestly. They're just holding the CC for the longest time. I was thinking, wait, how the hell are they going to actually get this kill? Remembering that Viego does actually have his stun, so they really tried to hold everything for as long as possible. And it's just well played by DFM. That's what they do every single time. And that one well played scenario has almost turned into a 1k gold lead for the side of DFM across the whole board, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just what they do. They're so proficient at doing these, finding these small advantages and pushing it so hard. You can already just see what they're doing in the bot lane.
Yeah, Hattel not really enjoying that trade. Actually, is going to go in for a little bit more, but is forced to run himself out of there. And I like the plan from V3. They've very clearly gone into this game going, we need to create a little bit of chaos in the early game. We need to try and catch DFM off foot. And maybe if we can secure ourselves a sort of 1k, 2k gold lead in sort of the first 10 minutes, then the rest of this game looks a little bit easier for us. But you can never really count out the mechanical skill that these DFM players have.
Oh, absolutely. To the point that they've gone cull first item, remember, in this bot lane for Udapon, like, and then go completely understanding that this is where they need to go. Oh, Yaharon getting caught out a little bit by Yu-Gi-Oh there, but hey, it's a level disparity. Think about it. Like, that's what pushing out your fellow mid laner is. It's already led to a two-wave advantage, and Yu-Gi-Oh is going to be struggling for a long time, no matter how much this spellbook is going to be useful for them.
Yeah, I mean, look at that CS differential. That is already 2.5 waves in favor of Yaharong on this Lissandra. Still not making their presence too known in the mid lane, but Unica, seeing the DFM jungler move down from the top side, is forced to abandon the Mountain Drake. Nearly 7 minutes on the board and no one's taken it down yet.
Well, the other thing was that Harp is also missing at the moment in time. They couldn't be concretely sure that he had actually gone back to base. He could have just been roaming with Steel. He could have been on the other side of the brush, so as such has to pull off, and then that just means less map control for V3, and less map control is the last thing you want to be as a V3 fan at this moment in time, because it currently feels a bit hopeless in general when your team just isn't actually able to pick up a win. Their early game is the good part, but the vision control is almost always where it seems to fall apart, and that's just the first part where it falls apart. It's not like there's a good part afterwards, sadly.
Yeah, V3 have had so many issues this year, in fact, even that it's really hard to diagnose a specific problem with the team. They just don't win, and they put themselves in winning positions multiple times this split and last split, and they haven't been able to find those victories to destroy the enemy nexus. And you really start racking your brain once it's get to this point in the game as to how have things gotten this bad, and why hasn't there been any changes? Why haven't we seen roster swaps coming through? Obviously, the players on the Rift right now have been trying their best, but if you want to win, something needs to change for V3.
Oh, they absolutely do, but Yaharong's already going in on them.
Yeah, we may be seeing that change here as the mid laner from DFM potentially caught out, but has enough support from Harp to get into the players. Unica diving forward, but that Glacial Tomb buys enough time for Yaharong to stay alive a little bit longer. It's not enough, though, as Yu-Gi-Oh claims the kill. V3 get their first kill of the game.
Yeah, that's just miscommunication to the side of DFM. 100% not being aware of all of the members of V3, did not realize at all how clumped up they were, and honestly, that felt a little bit late on the Lissandra ultimate coming out. But hey, the monkey came out, Unica assisted, and they did get a kill. Good stuff from V3 Esports. Can they capitalize on this person advantage at the moment? It turns out no, because Lissandra has TP, and as such, we revert back to a neutral setting. And Steel is going to start up the Rift Herald.
It is going to be spotted out as we jump into this replay. And hey, we were just talking about how V3 need to change things up, and being able to punish an attempted proactive play from Yaharong here is absolutely great. Doesn't respect that there are other V3 members on the map and gets punished for it.
Well, Unica's very much on vision as well this whole time, so that angle isn't there. And yeah, the Wukong ultimate comes up. I just feel like Yaharong should have used the Glacial Prism almost at the very beginning when Yu-Gi-Oh was actually pumping out a bunch of the initial damage back over. Potentially your team could actually come in and assist you. He did also decide not to blow the flash, so that's a good thing, I guess, for Yaharong. Died but kept flash. I guess you got it for the engage in the future, so that's still something. And we're criticizing them, or rather, I'm criticizing them heavily because of just the CS difference and everything. But actually, you'll play smart, right, buddy? You've been a shining light on V3.
Yeah, seeing these multiple waves crashed into his tower. means that DFM might be setting up for a dive. This is good from V3 though. Ayujo roaming up as Hetel and Unica is here as well. 1v1 actually on the top side of this fight as Washidai is taken very, very low. Steal in a 1v3, forced a Heartbreaker over the wall. That may be enough to get the DFM jungler away from the play. Washidai surviving on the top side as well.
Yeah, Ebby sadly missing a few bits of
no.
work went ult, but oh no, this is not how you want to be a V3 player.
Yeah, when Hetel is on the map, dress code will return to the fountain, actually blocking out the Ultra Shock laser, and Harp not going to be able to tank up enough damage as Washidai running away, spinning that lamppost around his head.
Thing is, even if you do it once, if they know where Hetel is coming in, Hetel, you might just get collapsed upon, because you have to respect the bot lane as well, buddy. I'm pretty sure.
As Yaharong doesn't have to respect the damage from Yuji. Is actually going to use the ultimate, looking for a solo kill. Flashed, forced, and the V3 mid laner stays alive.
I think I read 17, 18 HP. Oh, God, that's just inches.
Washidai still giving as good as he gets in this top lane on the Jack counterpart. Is down a little bit in terms of CS, but that's pretty much true for every single member of V3 right now. DFM have got themselves 2k gold advantage while still being even on kills. That just demonstrates how good this team is. Unica going to be able to steal away that rift out, prevent the charge from coming through as Harp roaming towards the top side of the rift and may need to bail out Ebby, who's got himself in a very, very sticky situation. The CC coming through onto Washidai, but there isn't really the damage to back it up, and now Harp might be in trouble himself. That lethal tempo stacks a load of damage, but the Jax isn't in range! And the Alistair claims the kill. Oh, no.
Okay. I don't even know what to say, mate, when you see something like that. That's the stuff that I do when I'm tilting off at 2 in the morning. It's not what you expect in pro play for Jax just to run down an Alistair and die. Oh, come on, though. This is just as bad.
Ebby, mate, that's greedy, mate. Unica gonna claim the kill, gonna claim that additional bit of gold, but DFM very much feel like they're playing a little bit fast and loose, a little bit disrespectful, if truth be told.
I think that's fair, because they have got Utafon in the bot lane, who's quietly farmed the highest amount of CS in this whole map, and just sometimes it's the best player on the side of DFM. Just some of the time, he just happens to have the case of doing that. I mean, Zeri, if you want to play fast and loose, that's the champion you should really be playing. So I mean, I don't know why the side of DFM are playing as if they're all Zeri. There's only one Zeri on the Rift. Outside of that, it's just really weird. I'm not sure really how to describe it, middle card. Like, this is uncharacteristic from DFM, a bit disrespectful almost.
Yeah, but I mean, that is how we've seen this team fall down in past splits. I think that they have tidied it up a fair bit, but it was sort of the situation for a very long time. It's like, yeah, DFM should win the split, but they'll always like throw one random game just because they don't respect their opponent.
I mean, this is what that currently feels like right now, mate. This is I've seen that DFM. This is what this DFM currently feels like right now. But I still feel like they'll get this win. I feel like they'll be able to clean it up.
Yeah, the disrespect I feel like is going to go unpunished this game, which maybe a little bit BM, but we'll have to see. That gold lead that's sort of been passively growing for DFM now at 3,000 gold. Ocean Drake spawning in 30 seconds. V3 have actually picked up the first one of those, so maybe a win condition far in their future, but I'd be surprised if DFM lets them get there.
Oh, 100%. And at this moment in time, DFM are just flexing on how much more map control they have. The numbers advantage. And Washidai, don't go to your turret, buddy.
Oh, no. It's not safe there. It's not safe for you there, I absolutely promise. As Yaharong and the boys are roaming over. Leap Strike used onto Ebby, but it is not going to matter. That Counter-Strike stun does go through onto Yaharong, who's going to tank up a couple tower shots, but doesn't even need to use the ult.
Not having to use it, and then gets to just very quietly rotate and help Ebby get this, and then we recall back, and it's all good. He's going to probably use that entire powered teleport to get down bot lane, so they can't even take this from dress code, so there's going to be no cross-map trading. And what this also sets up is that DFM can start rotating around and play around this dragon.
Yeah, maybe looking to play around a Yujo, although Hetzel a little bit too far forward, trying to clear the ward away. Harp lands the stun, the Tom Kedge flashes back, but has nowhere to go. Easy kill for Steel as they may look for a little bit more. Yoztapon going over the wall as Steel, also throwing out the tongue lash too. Dress code does clear that wave in the bot lane, but you are going to have to get out of there very, very sharpish, mate.
Oh, Yaharong really trying to get that turret aggro graphic up.
Oh no, Heart popping the ultimate, flashing for the pulverize. Yep, dress code, nowhere to go. Another kill for DFM, and they are really turning the screws.
Yeah, they just needed a bit of gold. They just needed first items to come in. That's all they needed. And the moment it seemed to hit 14 minutes, DFM was like, all right, we turn on now. We've already got the 3k gold lead that you're meant to get versus
Unica?
V3, but Steel is going to just flash away.
Yeah,
It was fun,
better,
mate. He was
better
fun.
safe than sorry. The V3 jungler not going to be able to pick up any compensation kills, as another tower falls in favor of DFM. And I've really liked how DFM have played out these early stages. So much focus towards that top lane, towards Wasudai, who is playing this Gwen counterpick of the Jax, trying to shut him down as hard as possible so we can't scale into this matchup and beat up on Ebby in the side lane.
I just noticed something, even with V3 getting this dragon, because of how this all worked, because it had ballooned to like a 7k gold lead at 15 minutes in with these few collapses, the 2 turrets going down on the bottom top side, 7,000 gold lead for them. It actually ended up turning on the bounties before the dragon actually had fallen.
Oh,
so
Lord.
V3 actually had a bit more gold to play with for them, so that's where it is. But basically, we got bounties at earliest time possible. So that's not good for V3, sadly.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's good, but it's like, if that's happening, something has gone very, very badly. At least we are looking at mythic items completed pretty much across the board for V3, so I think that's why they feel a little bit more able to contest this Herald, but I wouldn't be surprised if DFM look for a play around here.
I mean, second Herald is a lot better than it used to be, but we haven't got Yoharon coming in.
Yeah, the question is, do DFM feel like they actually need him? No TP available for Lissandra either, as Hatel once again going to be caught clearing a ward. Is able to dash away. No! Interrupted by the Spectrum War, and Yutapon gets his first kill of the game.
All right, now, well, DFM, what are you going to do? You've got the numbers advantage. You really want this. You want to keep going.
Yeah, they're just going to dive under the tower, and there is nothing that V3 could do to stop them. Jesco forced to flash away. Steel going forward. It's actually an overdive from DFM. That little bit of cockiness, that over-aggression that we were talking about, rightfully punished.
If we get a replay of that, I'm going to just say watch Harp, because sadly he headbutts in, misses everybody, and then tries to pulverize and hits 0 targets, and then awkwardly has to just walk away. So it feels like maybe the coordination of the execution was the more of the issue there more than anything else. But hey, that's exactly what you want to see if you're a V3 player at this moment in time. You collapsed on them. Someone like Yu-Gi-Oh is starting to get fed. They're starting to actually get some kills and more gold on them. So it's an angle for them. But as it comes into this replay, Hatel just constantly getting caught out of position, attempting to get away. Steel comes in with the stun. So that's why you weren't able to dive under and get away. But this is just a real deep dive, and I like the idea. But Harp sadly missing, Yu-Gi-Oh going golden, and then just not in the view to get any of the other players. It just ends up being a bit of an overdive. And hey, that's sometimes how it goes, even when you're the best in the region.
Yeah, and I don't think DFM go for that dive versus Sengoku or the Hawks, right? This is
I don't think they
much...
do that versus Rascal Jesters, mate.
This is very much a game where DFM feel a little bit more free to kind of play how they want. I imagine that this is something that they haven't prepped too much for, and just sort of coming in, relying on their innate strength as a team to get them through. And that does lead to plays like what you just saw there, overdiving a little bit, getting a little bit too aggro in the mid lane. But I'm sure they're not going to be carrying. I'm sure they're going to be absolutely chilling in comms and are happy with the gold lead that they've built for themselves over the last 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'd be like, okay, this was really good. The fact is that we did give them some gold back over because the bounties have fallen off because they got that dragon as well and everything. So we need to get bounties back on Middlecott if you're a DFM fan right now, because it's unacceptable that V3 was able to drop them. But they were the team that also was able to get bounties about 3 times in one game. So, I mean, hey, they're breaking records here.
and not in the way that they would like, Lexi.
Hey, I'm just looking positive. It's a record. Record's a record, mate. I mean, hey, that's what we got to do right now as a V3 fan. Ever since I lost Ace, it's not been a great time. I'll be honest. It's been rough.
Yeah, it's honestly, ever since they lost Ace, they kind of look like jokers. Not really been able to impress that many within the LJL. And looking at this game, it feels like we're just heading for another V3 loss, Lexi.
Yeah, I think that's the writings on the wall was more so of the first like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This game was probably like quietly secured in that realm. Yeah, I'll be honest. How this game basically goes now, Middlecott, is DFM group up for Dragon because they know V3 are all in on the Dragon stacking because that's how they have to play it. The moment that DFM get an ace, they're going to then rotate around, get Baron, and end this game. And let's see how fast they're able to do it as Unica's Ghost gets absolutely smacked upside their head.
Yeah,
wow.
that was a lot of damage. That could be you in a few moments there, mate, as this Dragon is on the board. They're actually finding an initial engage off onto Ebby. That was sick!
It was you, actually, Ebby, who it was for, not Unica. But with that said, even with the collapse, okay, that's on the Gwen. Smite is still a real thing, and there's also a big wraparound currently coming from Harp. So let's just see how the execution will be on this.
Yeah, Yaharong joining this fight as well. Unica is able to smite down that Drake, but let's see if V3 can actually play out the rest of this fight. DFM taking this one very slow, being very measured in their engage. Yaharong popping forward. Huge ring of frost. Massive knock-up from Harp as well. This is a 4v5, but DFM do not give a damn. Utapon free firing with the burst fire, but V3 actually turning it around. There goes Zeri skating over the wall, looking for a little bit more as Ebby TPing into this fight. Full HP on the Gwen. Could just take over as Yaharong finds an initial pick there. First kill of the fight going in favor of DFM. Second kill of the fight for DFM as we're actually seeing members traded back, but it doesn't even matter. The top team in the league versus the bottom team in the league. We know how this goes. DFM take the fight.
Oh, I felt like it was actually maybe going to turn around. V3 actually escaping, getting out with their lives and the dragon and a kill as well to reward them. It all was a bit for naught. Yes, Ebby coming in with that TP, completely blowing up the idea of the retreat from the side of V3 Esports. This was why DFM was doing that slow chase. They didn't want to scare them off. They wanted to kind of bait them, run away, come back and forth. But this all actually started with a bit of a faux pas from Ebby, going very deep and a blind knockback caused by Yu-Gi-Oh. There we go. That's the player's name. Actually ends up pretty much allowing V3 to get this fight and they run out. The issue is they don't protect all of the members of their team. And the moment that they notice that they're all starting to disgroup, yeah, that's where the damage comes in. Harp also huge knock-up pulverized, redeeming themselves for that mid-lane blunder. And now this is where V3 are like, okay, we just need to just get out. And the side of DFM are like, how can we keep them in for as long as possible? Because we don't want them to actually back off. They were able to find it with Utapon going very deep, and because of that deep assault, they decide they're able to get the rest of these kills and win it. But it was a bit of an edge case scenario there for DFM.
And this is the thing is, hold on, we're seeing a Yujo trying to make a play onto Steel. V3 are making aggressive plays in this game. They are finding picks onto a DFM that are playing a little bit sloppier than they would like. And this is such the frustrating thing about V3 is they are nowhere near the worst team in League of Legends history. They keep finding plays in all of their games, but they are never able to chain it into anything that results in the enemy nexus exploding.
Oh, and this is the mid-game fumble from V3. We've seen them where they make an idea. They have an idea, and it's never really that bad. It's just the execution and the full play of it. Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
No, it's fine.
Sure.
He's alive. Yeah, he's alive. Yeah. He just nearly got one shot. Rough stuff.
Baron is probably going to get taken down very quickly for DFM here, is how this game is going to go out. I feel like we're probably on the precipice. We're all wrong about game time, though, in credit to V3.
Yeah. They have lasted longer in this game than we would have anticipated. And hey, in a minute and a chance, they've got a chance of getting a Drake Soul. which I don't think we've seen from them this entire, well, maybe
No,
the split, I'm not too sure. No, they got one against CGA, didn't they? Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, if they're going to do it against any team, yeah, CGA sounds about right.
Yeah.
Or Access to a point, obviously, as Access have been struggling, but they've been looking better more recently. So hey, that's something. Yes, V3 would take down Singularity. I have at least that much faith in them.
Oh Lord, why'd you have to bring up Singularity, man?
Hey, it got brought up in our Twitch chat, mate. So I'm gonna bring it up when it's relevant.
Who did that? Who did that? I need names.
You need names from the guy that can't read people's names. Remember, mate. All right.
Yeah, it's
Hyrav.
Hyrav.
Hyrav. HY and then Rav.
Do you know who that is?
Thing is, I'm really about to put myself in a weird spot.
Yeah, you are.
No, I don't.
That's the owner of X7, mate.
I've never met them or anything, mate.
You never met them? He's a chill dude. He's a chill dude.
Cool.
Little bit bold right now.
Like the studio wall?
Yeah, like a little bit. That's very, very bold. And actually, once again, we're seeing V3 finding a decent engagement. They don't really have the gold to back it up, and they are forced to disengage once more.
Oh, and if you're DFM, all right, let's go take that dragon. We got to now. The kids came over. They disrupted our time with the Baron, our big purple worm. Thank you, V3. So we'll go kill the dragon now, and then we'll go over and kill the Baron a second time. It's fine. Ugh, kids.
This game has definitely taken longer than it should have done, Lexi.
Oh, just infinitely more. And also, hello to the owner of X7. I feel like that's more interesting right now.
Maybe we can get him on, like have a little mini interview.
Yeah.
Are you Joe chasing down Yaharong? Not finding the stun, unfortunately for him.
And you know what? Let's give some credit over to the V3 members. Yu-Gi-Oh's had a pretty decent game today.
Yeah.
Unica has had some alright spots, has been caught out a few times, but has had some at least. The idea of the engage has been good, and Washi Day, while the laning phase wasn't a great fun for them.
No, carry on.
No, I immediately stopped.
I thought something would happen. Something would happen. Well, I mean, so actually, Lexi, you bring up a good point about the game time. If this goes to, I think it's beyond 28 minutes. This is going to be the longest game that DFM have played in like their last few, like the last 8 games or something. In fact, the last game they played that actually went longer than this was on day 7 versus Rascal Jester. So credit, I guess, to V3. I definitely don't think that DFM are trying to win this game as hard as they maybe would be otherwise. But V3 have been doing good things. They've been making proactive plays. Yu-Gi-Oh has looked damn good, and Unica with these snap engages has been really effective.
I mean, at least there's an idea, right? Like, they're trying, but like that's what we've never questioned about this side of the V3 esports. Like, they always try. That was never no question. It was more on execution, sometimes ease or lack of thereof of execution, identity. And I mean, I think honestly for me, the bigger issue I've had for V3 and something I've actually been pondering, as sadly we haven't had the podcast going recently. Hopefully it's returning soon, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully. Identities of teams currently in the LJL, and I think V3, honestly, more than anything else, they just lack of identity. Like, I can't possibly say with any certainty this is what the team will always try and do.
Oh yeah,
it's that's something like DFM. They can actually kind of do a bit of everything. That's kind of their identity, and they're very good at executing and doing something. Whereas V3 Esports, they kind of just play the game like so low key, like now.
Yeah, they might be very dead. Here was actually a strong eat from Hettel, able to disengage a lot of that stuff from DFM, but holy moly. Ebby's damage with the needlework is absolutely ridiculous. Level 16 on that Gwen can really put out the deeps.
Snip, snip, and snippity snip like that. It means we're going to go over, take this Baron, and V3 Esports, your average game time is about 31 minutes and 20 seconds, and I think that's probably an average game time for now.
Yeah, Unica not going to be able to get into the pit to secure the steal and will be falling down. DFM, they've played with their food a little bit over the past few minutes, but I imagine that with this Baron push, they could be more decisive.
Oh, I mean, also think about it. Levels, death time is starting to come in. Unica has been dead since, well, it's about 36 minutes now on the death timer. So any member of V3 Esports falls now, you're not going to be coming back immediately. And when it gets this late into the game with a Baron and everything else, DFM are decisive and they will just end the game given an opportunity.
Top lane tower taking a fair bit of punishment from those buffed up Baron minions, but credit to V3 once again moving over, stopping the push coming out from the members of DFM. You want to be a little bit careful here though, as Hetel doesn't have the Devour for a little while, and the DFM dive potential definitely something that you need to fear.
Yeah, Udapon deciding to actually join over with his brethren of DFM and then rotating around from that mid lane. He was pushing mid, pushing the wave in and escorting it in, but they decided to actually go for a 4-1 split simply because they'll actually have more damage and the burst potential actually to come out, and they can have Ebby play on the side lane. And the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is because he's got that TP. It also allows the side of DFM to currently shadow this this dragon, which is still honestly a big win for the side of V3. Even if they don't win this game, just being able to get things like Dragon Souls, that's something you can walk back to locker room and go, okay, yeah, but at least we played the Dragon area. That's something good we can take away from this game against DFM of all teams.
Yeah, and it really is about like building your strength. It's about putting things together that are not going to work for you maybe in this game, but build into something stronger in the long term. DFM don't seem to want to allow V3 to claim that dragon, as they are making a play onto Washidai. Level 16 on the Jaxo, so you need to be very scared of that.
No.
You need to be scared of that damage from Yaharong as well. Utapon flying over the wall, putting out the DPS, and there is so much DPS. Steel diving forward with a stolen Wukong, as yeah, this is where it ends for V3. They've had their fun, they've had their opportunities, but DFM want to remind them who's king of the LJL.
And was there ever any doubt from them, Hatal and Washide? Can you do anything? Is there any last hope?
Nope, there is no hope at all. Washidai thrown back into the other members of DFM as his support falls by the entrance to the fountain. Nexus Tower number 2 falls down as Washidai looks for a hero play, but there is no time for you to be a hero when DFM destroy your Nexus.
Wow. Well, DFM just still the best team in the LJL.
Yeah.
A bit of fumbles times throughout that game. Middlecott wasn't the cleanest showing really from our potential world representative, and honestly, from a world representing team, that's not actually a good showing, honestly speaking.
I will just say, Lexi, for my mind, I think DFM were maybe having a little bit more fun this game than they should have done.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
It's a game that you could look back on a few weeks from now, not really looking over the VOD and
Would
go,
you
wow,
though?
wow, but V3 actually managed to push DFM fairly hard in this game. No, DFM always had the control. It was just a matter of finding that final fight that would end them the game.
Yeah, they didn't get the Dragon Soul. They got 2 turrets that game, or just 1 in the bot lane?
Yeah, they got a couple. They got a couple, I
2.
think. Yeah.
Like, there were some good takeaways, but they fell away so early on in that game, and it was just, yeah.
It was DFM V3. I don't think
was.
anyone expected anything different. We are going to be hopping to a short break now, but join us in a couple minutes to break down that game.
We are back once again. V3 making it a bit closer against DFM than many would have assumed. But you know what? Shout out to some movies. Remember the Titans? There was a time in that movie where they say, let them remember the day they played the Titans. That was DFM at the end there. They really came through with the smoke and they picked up the win. Why are you cracking up?
It's just like saying a shout out to movies.
Yeah, of course, bro. Shout out to me. If you don't
Yeah,
like movies, what's going on? This
do a
one
fair bit.
was a bit of a move. We had a start that was a bit shaky, from DFM, to be fair. Then we had a middle where V3 almost had the comeback. We almost had that return arc, but then, DFM came through it strong and picked up the win at the end of the day. And to be fair, I don't think any of us are surprised. But let's get the draft up on the screen. A few new picks coming in here. Let's start with you, Must One. They picked up the Jacks, so a little bit more agency for the side of Washido.
I mean, the Jacks looked perfectly fine in some spots. The laning phase could have gone better, could have gone a lot worse, though, as well, in some of those dive and gank opportunities from DFM. Perfectly fine pick. Didn't really get to scale, though, sadly, and fell behind pretty far. And then Ebby got to do Ebby things. But hey, an exciting pick nonetheless.
Yeah, was it? And also the Talia coming out from YouTube. Middelcourt, what did you make of this one? Obviously, the first time they played it in this split.
Yeah, I actually really like the Talia play from Eugeo. They were going for a lot of aggressive shoves back into the pebbles. We didn't see as much roaming as I would have necessarily liked from them, and obviously they did almost get solo killed by Yaharong a couple of times. But I think on balance, the Talia really worked as a pick, and I think if V3 are able to pull out similar performances to this against weaker opposition, definitely could see a win coming through. I don't want to say it, but it could happen.
No, we are waiting for that inevitable win. They still haven't found it just yet, but the big one that I'm really interested in was actually, it felt like DFM kind of took a little bit of a day off. A lot of them kind of playing maybe a little bit looser than they would normally if they were playing against someone like Sengoku. But I will say two that did really surprise me. Yaharong really smurfing some of those engages. The Ring of Frost absolutely massive in those team fights.
Yeah, it turns out Yaharong is actually quite good at League of Legends. Who would have thought it? I continue to be impressed by this guy. His ability to get through lanes incredibly safely without losing and falling down, getting advantages for himself as well. But I think the real place that he has shined is in these team fights. He's constantly finding the correct position. He's finding these engages. I mean, I've not seen 4 people get hit by a Ring of Frost in so long on Lissandra, but it's a real testament to how skilled this guy is.
Yeah, sure he is. And then on the flip side, Utapon as well, I think had a really good game. Must1, you said it, at some point the team were kind of just doing their things. He was still focused on that farming, keeping himself very much ahead of the curve.
Oh yeah, I mean at the 14-15 minute mark, he had the most CS in the map. He was only pushing forward, was rotating around in that mid push. I mean, where DFM were kind of fumbling in spots, Utapon was normally on his own in a lane, pushing, and then rotating around to try and meet the team, to try and make up the numbers in a lot of spots. I mean, even in that fumble in the bot side where it was the 4v5, Utapon was the one who jumped over the wall to then give them more time so that the V3 were like, actually, maybe we can kill Utapon quickly, which then allowed Ebby's TP to then come in and then completely clear up and get the 4-0, and then virtually end the game off of that push. It just took them another 3 to 4 minutes, sadly.
Well, with that being said, obviously another win for DFM. They're keeping themselves on that win streak, keeping it alive. Before we go to a break, though, I'm going to ask you to do a bit of a Mystic Meg. I want you to predict the future for me. On Friday,
Okay.
DFM Sengoku. Big match.
Lord.
We're talking Man City versus Liverpool at the moment in the Premier League. We're talking Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua at the moment. We're talking the best 2 teams right now. We're talking some crazy stuff. ATM. And what I want to know, Middelcourt, who do you have winning on Friday?
Well, I did say last time I was on broadcast that I genuinely believe that DFM could go undefeated through the rest of the splits and maybe even playoffs as well. And I'm going to stick to that. This team has been getting better and better. And Sengoku feel like they've leveled off a little bit in terms of the level of their play. And DFM are just accelerating right the way through. I wouldn't be surprised if that game versus Sengoku is actually quicker than the one we've seen today.
Okay, Mars1, are you of the same opinion or are you going to stick to the Sengoku guns?
What? I'm still trying to process the last part that Middelcourt just said there. Faster time than this? Jesus. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take out a weird order here, J Real.
Okay.
If Vittel plays, DFM will win. If Honey returns, Sengoku win.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Expectations have been set. To
Oh,
be
yeah.
fair, we'll see if Honey returns. Obviously, Sengoku have picked up a couple.
Give me my
losses
boy.
recently. So maybe it could be on the cards for the return. Obviously, it would be a pretty massive moment for them to come back just for the DFM game. But with that being said, we are going to be going to a short break. Join us here in a few minutes where we will have CGA versus Sengoku.